Black Friday's gone, Cyber Monday's gone. Can I still have a holiday season where I feel like I'm getting a good deal?
I bet you want to know the answer. There are 2 major deal days coming up in December. We've got it all for you right now on MOMCAST. The biggest online shopping day of all time. Welcome to MOMCAST, everyone. I'm Emma Jade. We broke records on Cyber Monday. Now officially the most Americans have ever spent online, with a total of $12.4 billion in a day, which means consumers spent $15.7 million every minute. That's according to Adobe Analytics. And this year's sales beat initial expectations, jumped nearly 10% from the previous year, 2022. So you might be wondering, what are we all buying? Adobe said hot sellers included Hot Wheels, smartwatches, televisions, and video game systems. This massive Cyber Monday is on top of a pretty big Black Friday where Americans spent nearly $10 billion. So maybe all that shopping has you feeling a little anxious. Reality is setting in a little bit. With a few extra hundred, maybe thousands of dollars sitting on the credit card, you might be wondering too, are all the deals gone? What does the rest of December look like for consumers? Can we still save? We're chatting with money-saving expert Trey Bodge to help us navigate the next couple of weeks when it comes to our wallets. I mean, we still got a long ways to go until Christmas. First up, though, let's get you caught up on the news. A community still waiting, still hoping for some sort of justice after 16-year-old Preston Lord was brutally beaten at a party in Queen Creek, later dying from his injuries. Loved ones and strangers walked 2 miles through the East Valley this week, ending at the Queen Creek Police Department, hoping for some closure in this case. And we're not getting much from the police department, who have now partnered with the FBI and identified multiple persons of interest. But still, no arrests have been made. It's been a month since Preston was killed. In a statement, Queen Creek Police Chief Randy Bryce telling 12 News, "We understand the community is grieving the loss of a child and want an arrest. We do too. This was a heinous crime, and we are committed to holding those accountable." For all the updates, stay with 12news.com. And as a reminder, there was a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in this case. There's also a GoFundMe page set up to assist Preston Lord's family during this impossible time. Again, find all of that on 12news.com. We got some changes we want to tell you about coming soon to Mesa High Schools. The largest school district in the state just approved some new security measures to keep students safe. We're talking weapon detectors that every student will have to walk through and vape detectors in bathrooms. Last year, officials say they had about 6 instances where guns were seized at Mesa schools. They also added the vape detectors at Red Mountain High School in Mesa get about 15 alerts a day, catching 5 kids a day just from 2 bathrooms. These changes, they won't be cheap though. Each weapon detector costs about $20,000, $1,600 for vape detectors, money that would have come from Mesa's $500 million school bond measure that voters did not pass. So the district says they're gonna have to come up with the money some other way. Well, Christmas is just a few short weeks away, and it is time to send Santa Claus that Christmas list. The U.S. Postal Service says they are ready to get all those letters to the North Pole for the big man in red. This week marks the earliest kickoff ever for Operation Santa. The event is now in its 111th year. So if you want to take part in it, kids need to use their full name, a return address, a stamp, and Santa's correct address, which is 123 Elf Road, North Pole. Zip code is 88888. But with the holidays comes a lot of overwhelm. We're spending a lot of money. Our calendars are full of events, and we have a lot going on, and that sometimes means we don't act our best. We have a shorter fuse, and our patience is out the window. And the same can be said for our kids, believe it or not. That's why I really love today's parenting tip from our favorite child and family therapist, Amy Anger, on how we can deal with our child when they treat us poorly. Check it out. I'll see you on the other side.
If your child speaks horribly to you, and the only consequence put in place is either the silent treatment or, hey, you don't talk to us that way, but really nothing else, you are setting your child up to continue to speak poorly to you. Here's why. We know that when human beings, we're not just talking kids, but for this, we'll talk kids. We know that when kids don't feel good about themselves, they act out on other people. They might do or say mean things because they don't feel good about themselves. We also know that when we are unkind, act out, do unkind things, say unkind things, it leaves us not feeling great. And so you can see that gets into a cycle. I don't feel great about myself. I say unkind things. I don't feel great about myself after saying those things. And you never really break out of that. When we allow our kids to go unchecked, the implicit message that we send is, I think you're doing the best that you can do. When I have to believe that when kids are speaking poorly like that, it's not the best they can do. Yes, your house, your family, your parenting should be a soft place to land for kids. But a soft place to land still comes with boundaries.
Again, that's Amy Anger. You can follow her on Instagram at The Real Parent. Oh, she's so good. I love her tips. Can you believe how much money we spent on Black Friday and Cyber Monday? Record-breaking, beating expectations. But we still have weeks to go until Christmas. And you know what? I threw this out on my MOMCAST Instagram page. 73% of you are not done with your holiday shopping. So what are we supposed to do? Can we still save? Can we still get deals? And how do we pay off all the money that we spent? I've got it all for you, thank goodness, in my interview with money-saving expert Trey Bodge. Check it out.
If I didn't get all my Christmas shopping done or my holiday shopping, did I miss out?
So yes and no.
Okay.
There are a couple of categories that are very strong on Black Friday, Cyber Monday that it might be hard to beat those deals later in the season. Tech is one of them. So you might have a hard time finding as good of a deal on a TV, for example, a tablet, some AirPods. However, we are having a bit of a roller coaster of a holiday shopping season. Retailers are rolling sales throughout, and so they come and go. So it is possible that you'll see those items on sale again in December. But the good news is we will see deals in very specific categories in December. So you can kind of frame your shopping that way. Toys are very deeply discounted in December. We often see a lot of colder weather apparel. And then anything holiday themed will be clearance level because retailers are going to be looking to clear that merchandise out prior to the new year so they can restock with fresher things for the new year.
What rights do I have as a consumer if I bought a toy already and it's even discounted even more as we get closer to Christmas? Is there anything that I can do to kind of, I don't know, get some more money back?
In many cases, yes. And so many of the larger retailers offer some sort of price protection. Now, the policies change from retailer to retailer. I know for sure that Target has their holiday price match guarantee. That's throughout the season until December 24th. So if you happen to buy something at Target and the price goes lower later, they will honor that lower price. You can find similar benefits at other retailers as well. So it's always worth asking because then you can get that money back.
Are there certain retailers that you think, man, maybe you should shop there? You're going to get a better deal and you're going to have more protection as a consumer.
Yeah, I mean, consumers are more protected at the larger retailers, sort of taking Amazon out of the equation right now because they don't price match, but many of the larger retailers do. So if you're looking for price protection, that's a better option. However, I hesitate to say that only because I think it's important that we support our small businesses and our mom and pops downtown. So I don't want to say shop only at your big box retailers, but maybe you buy your more broad market items at the big box retailers, and then you buy your really special, unique, handmade things at the mom and pops downtown.
This year does feel a little bit different. Obviously, we're dealing with inflation and we're dealing with higher prices everywhere, not just when it comes to holiday shopping, but predictions are that people are really going to spend. Why are we seeing that?
So it's interesting because I'm seeing pretty widely varying reports about what spending is going to be. So the National Retail Federation is saying 3 to 4%, which if you adjust for inflation, that's, pretty moderate. Then you're looking at Deloitte and they're predicting, I think, 11 to 13%, and that's a massive jump. And so I'm inclined actually to follow the NRF this year, simply because of the conversations that I'm having and what I'm reading. I feel like people are going to be more cautious. A recent poll from Bread Financial said that 33% of people are expecting to pay more, but 76% of people are going to be looking for sales and deals. And so while we're kind of preparing and gearing ourselves up for inflation, we're trying not to spend more. And so we also reached $1 trillion in credit card debt recently for the first time in our history. And so my hope and my feeling is that people are going to shop carefully this year in an effort not to add to that credit card debt number.
If someone is dealing with that credit card debt and, that, gosh, that just dark cloud over you for the holidays, what's some of your advice for people like that? Because they still want to enjoy the season, right?
Yes, and I have been there. I'm not there now, and I'm very grateful for that. But if you are struggling with credit card debt, it is time to have a very honest conversation with yourself about what you can afford and try to stay within that budget. And if that means that each of your kids cannot get 10 presents, maybe they can get 2 presents, that's okay. And as a parent, I think it's our opportunity to teach our kids not to expect this kind of overblown holiday. We create the climate for them. And so this is something that I urge often. Have conversations with your kids about, maybe give me a list and maybe there'll be 2 special things that Santa will bring you under the tree, for example. The other thing is that we often fall into these kind of social norms that then lead to spending traps. Maybe the entire family, everyone's buying for everyone, and it costs you a lot every year. Maybe you're the one to stand up and say, hey, let's do a white elephant this year, or let's only buy for the kids. You can change those traditions in a really positive way and still have a beautiful holiday. And then the last thing I would say along those lines is that I'm hearing that younger millennials and Gen Zers are really leaning towards experiences versus things. And so that's maybe a direction that you go in. Maybe you plan an ice skating trip for everyone, or you go for a hike or have a potluck. Spend time with people versus exchanging things. So for me, I think it's about changing your traditions, changing kind of your thought pattern if it's been problematic in the past, and moving forward and having a very honest conversation with yourself and about your budget right now.
Sometimes people go away from the gift card because they think, oh, I'm just not thoughtful enough. But
Yeah.
I've seen in some of your interviews, you say that that's one of the best gifts that you can give to someone.
Yeah, I mean, according to the National Retail Federation, it is the number 1 or number 2 most popular gift, and it's been so for over a decade. So rather than buying badly for someone, buy them the gift of spending money. Who doesn't love to go shopping for themselves?
This is such a broad question for someone like you, but some good spending advice to keep in mind during the holiday season.
Yeah. So I think, first of all, really good to be honest with yourself about your budget. A good thing to do is look at last year, look at your credit card bills. Did you bring a lot of debt into 2023? If so, you overspent. And so maybe it's a matter of spending a little bit less per person, or maybe you don't give gifts to everyone. Maybe it's just a card this year, and then kind of move forward through the season in that way. I think budget is really the overarching theme for this holiday. It's really important to stay on budget. So I would make a list, get organized, stay on track, look for sales, and then also use savings tools. There are so many great ones out there. Deal sites that I love would be Coupon Cabin, PayPal. There's a brand new one called Give Freely, which is a browser extension that you install on your computer. And as you're shopping, it'll pop up with coupons that you can click on to activate. And what's really unique about this one is that you save on your purchase, but then a portion of your purchase is donated to your favorite charity at no cost to you.
What? I've never heard of that.
It's brand new. I'm so excited about it because, I loved Amazon Smile as a way to donate to charity, but Amazon Smile ended in January of this year. And I've been kind of like looking around for something else. And so I was so excited to learn about Give Freely. So that's an awesome one if you're looking to donate, because charitable giving is at a 3-decade low right now. Obviously, families are are cash strapped. We're trying to feed and clothe our families and put a roof over everyone's head and buy a few holiday gifts, charitable giving is going to fall by the wayside, right? But this is a really fun and easy way to give back to a cause that you care about.
When it comes to holiday spending, what are some of the traps that people really fall into? Is it just buying too much?
It's buying too much. And then it's those social norms, like buying for all of your colleagues at work. It's also a feeling of reciprocity, which concerns me, where you may have a very generous relative who gives you something beautiful every year and you feel like you have to reciprocate and it's not in your budget. It's really important that you think to yourself, okay, she spent $100 on me, but I have $15. What's the best thing that I can give her for my $15? It shouldn't be, I'm going to go into debt and give her $100 gift again. So I just think it's like really about having those conversations with yourself about your budget and being honest, and you'll stay on track. And I think the last trap, and this is something that many of us do, is selfish shopping. And I'm all for treating ourselves during the holidays, but there's got to be a limit to it. It isn't one for them, one for me. And the reason why we do this is because when we're shopping so much more than usual, so we're seeing so much more than usual. And of course, we're like, hey, I need that sweater. It's hard to avoid, but a good way to kind of manage that is to add yourself to your gift list and with a spending cap. And so that way, if you only have a certain amount to spend, you're going to be much more mindful about what you buy.
When it comes to those coupons and things like that, can you give me a list one more time of the browser extensions that I could add onto my computer or on my phone that you think are the ones worth having?
Yeah. So some of my favorites, and admittedly, I have a bunch going at the same time, which is not what I would encourage. So Coupon Cabin, I love PayPal Honey, Slick Deals. Slick Deals is an interesting one. I didn't mention this one before. They have 12 million shoppers looking for deals. So it's more of a community-based site. And so that's interesting. They have a forum that you can ask questions and see if anyone's found a deal somewhere. So it's just a little bit more human, I guess.
Okay.
I do like Rakuten as well. And then Give Freely, like I mentioned, is the charitable one. And those are all online. Now, when it comes to in-store shopping, it's harder to save because the tools just aren't as good in many cases. So I would make sure that you've installed the app of the stores where you're shopping, if they happen to have one, so you can take advantage of any special deals, join that loyalty program. The one app that from a deal site that I think is really good is Coupon Cabin. So they have an in-store tab that you can click on and just scroll through as you're in the mall. You'll find offers that you can click on and activate right then and just scan it at checkout. So that's the one that I like to use in store. And then the others are great for online.
So many shoppers, myself included, just don't even do this stuff. They just don't even do the coupon things, but we're really missing out, aren't we?
We are absolutely leaving money on the table if you're not using those tools, but it's also about what's realistic and doable for you. I had an interesting conversation with a friend the other day who she uses some apps where she has to take picture of the receipt and mail this in and whatever. And I was like, I'm done. For me, it's like, that's my limit. I'm not willing to do that. I'm not willing to clip coupons and keep them in a folder and watch the expiration dates and stack them. And I mean, I think that's amazing that people do that and they probably save a lot, but I just cannot get there. So I think it's really about what can I do? What can I tolerate in my shopping experience? And with browser extensions, you just need to literally install them for a few seconds and then they work for you in the background and you click on them to activate them when you're shopping. So for me, that's a no-brainer. Am I going to be taking pictures of receipts? No, but I'm going to use all the browser extensions because it's easy. And actually, one more thing that I think a lot of us don't think about is which credit card we should be shopping with. It might be time to sit down and it takes 5 minutes to just Google the names of the different credit cards in your wallet to refresh your memory of oh, this one gives me 2% cash back on all of my shopping, or this one gives me 4% cash back on food, or this one helps me save on gas. And actually, I did this with my mom. I actually wrote in a Sharpie on each one, this one's for grocery and gas. This is for your gifts and other things, so that way you're getting that easy benefit from your credit card simply just by using it.
I never even thought to do that. And you wrote it on the credit card?
I did.
It's brilliant.
Because that
Go
way
on.
there was no question. And if you find that none of your credit cards have these benefits,
Yeah.
it might be time for a new credit card. Because if you're using your credit card a lot and you're missing out on 2%, that's 2% you're leaving on the table. So you can also look for a good general credit card. One that I like is the Bread Financial. It's from Bread Financials, the Bread Cashback American Express. It's a fee-free card, so there's no annual fee, 2% cashback on everything that you buy. So for me, it's like, if none of your credit cards are really cutting it for you, like switch to one that just does all the things. And then you have one credit card in your wallet and that's it. And it's, I think, easier to manage with fewer credit cards too. If you're going to switch to another credit card, keep your other credit card accounts open. It's better for your credit score to leave them open versus like calling the credit card company and closing them.
Black Friday's gone. Cyber Monday's gone. Can I still have a holiday season where I feel like I'm getting a good deal?
Yes. Focus on free shipping day, which is December 14th. That tends to be the day that retailers promise on-time ground shipping for Christmas specifically. And also there will be sales on that day. So that's like another big one. And then I would also say Super Saturday, which is kind of funny this year. Usually it's a little bit farther away from Christmas, but this year it's the 23rd. And so it's the 23rd of December. So don't take any chances with shipping on that day. But that's another day that there will be sales. So that's free shipping day on the 14th, Super Saturday on the 23rd. Those will be, the two other kind of buckets of big sales. But my guess is that you're going to see sales kind of rolling throughout the season, even though Black Friday and Cyber Monday are done.
I love these tips. I actually opened an Amazon credit card right after I spoke with her because that's where I do most of my shopping. So the two big dates for more deals, according to Trey, free shipping day, December 14th, and Super Saturday, which is later this year because Christmas is on a Monday. It's weird, but it's December 23rd. Put that on your calendar. Have a great week, everyone. Happy shopping. I'm Emma Jade, and thank you so much for watching MOMCAST.